a page, a medieval page, somebody who's in training. He's not like one to apprentice for a knight. I feel like he's an apprentice for some type of a doctor, some type of a medicine man, or something like that, because he's in a room with a desk and a lot, like huge volumes of books all around him, so bookshelves and things like that. And I feel like he's studying medicine. It seems like he's doing something related to medicine, related to alchemy, related to human anatomy or physiology or something like that. So it's a very medieval type of a setting. So I see this guy, he looks like he's 14 or 15, he's in training, and there are a bunch of books, thick volumes of books just in front of him. And he's holding one of those quill writing pens. And he's thumbing through the books. He's trying to find an answer. He's trying to like figure out something, solve a problem or something that is really, really theoretical, something that's complicated, something that's really occupying a lot of his time. So outside, it looks like, through the window of the study, it looks like it's dark outside, and he's got um, a little pot of oil, and there's a wick, so he's really burning through the midnight oil. Like, that's what it feels like to me, staying up really late to study something. And he's getting frustrated because he's not able to find an answer, to find some type of a solution. And then he's all like, I'm not going to be able to sleep if I don't find a solution. And he was all like, okay, well, I need to take a break anyway, so let me just go and, boil some water or cook some water and get like, make some type of something to drink. That's what it feels like to me, something warm. And as soon as he gets up from his desk, he goes and, pours water into a boiling pot. The solution comes to him. I see him like come up with solution. His face lights up. And then he scrambles back to his desk, and he desperately, tries to write out his thought processes, because it seems like he has stumbled upon something that will allow him to solve a major, major problem that's been kind of tugging at his mind, that he's been trying to solve for a really long time. So he's really, really happy, and that's where the scene cuts off. And then I'm also seeing another scene where there are two pages as well. So they're like probably 15, 16 years old, teenage boys. They're in this grassy field, and they're practicing their swords, okay? They're practicing with their swords. They're practicing fighting with their swords, and they have these wooden swords. And they're just having fun going at it. And then like things are just really, really fun. And then this really pretty young girl walks out, and she was all like, I made you guys some drinks or some food, some sandwiches or something. And then as soon as they see her, I feel like the environment or the atmosphere changes. And then rather than just playing, I feel like they're getting a little bit more competitive, because they're trying to like one up one another in order to impress her. So then the what starts out as just playful fighting, now it becomes a little bit more serious. But at the same time, they're not vicious with each other. I just feel like they're upping the ante, and mainly because there's somebody watching, or somebody that they're trying to impress is watching their performance. Okay, so then those are the two scenes that I saw for you. So first of all, with this first scene, it seems to me as if there's a very, very simple solution that is kind of like right in front of you. And a lot of the times too, when we go around obsessively looking for something, we can never find it. Like if you're running late one day and you're trying to, put on your shoes, put on your coat, get your backpack together, get all your paperwork, and then all of a sudden you couldn't find your house keys. And then you waste like another 15, 16 minutes, like turning up your entire house trying to find your car keys. And when we're in that state where we are desperately looking for something, or we're desperate for something, the energy around us can feel very, very fragile. It can seem very destabilizing. And in that type of an environment, it's hard for us to think strategically. It's hard for us to think straight. And it's hard for us to calm ourselves and collect our thoughts and to really, sit down and just be like, okay, when was the last time I saw my keys? Was it last night? Where did I go last night? Did I put it in my coat pocket? Did I put it in the side of my bag? Did I put it on the counter? So it's almost like you kind of need to take a moment to really retrace your steps and to really arrive at, okay, what have I done already? What didn't work? Why exactly didn't it work? And bouncing off of what has already worked in the past, what other avenues can I try? So I definitely feel like, you're desperately looking for a solution, looking for answers, looking for some type of a resolution to a situation. And it seems as if there are many, many ways in which you could resolve the situation. But I almost feel like the easiest answer is probably right in front of you. So you need to take a moment and, try to really lay out all the options and all the possible choices so that you can arrive at probably the fastest and the quickest solution. Okay. So I'm sensing that many of you have been dealing with some type of a stressor in your life. And I feel for some of you, it might be like work, career, status, prestige, money, finance. Okay, so all clumped up in that arena. And the reason that I say that is because we have these two cards that are coming through. We have the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune is a major arcana card, so it usually denotes major life choices, big, big, big pictures, big turns of events. So this is not just about, what am I going to buy for groceries later on today? What am I going to cook tomorrow? Where am I going to eat with my friends when we go out for dinner, next week? This is not like those mundane, really insignificant or decisions that in the greater scheme of things don't matter. This is about big life decisions, big career paths. What do I want to do with my time? What do I want to build towards? What do I see myself doing in about 5 years' time? Do I see myself staying in this situation or even this work environment or in this partnership or whatever it is? These are major life decisions, and it seems like there's like a fork in the road that many of you have recently encountered. And on top of it is the Tower in the reverse position. Change in housing environment, wanting to take a different path. So whatever we have been doing, I feel like in some ways it's like it's not bringing us the emotional fulfillment anymore. Ace of Cups in the reverse. There's a different path that is kind of laid out ahead of us. The star points us to the way. And if we look back at, when before the GPS was invented, before we had access to smartphones, people rely on the stars to navigate. For example, if you're in a ship and all you have access to are the skies, then you're going to rely on the stars in order to point you in the right direction. And then even, further, biblical times, people rely on the stars to make predictions, rely on the stars to kind of point them towards the right direction. So what I'm feeling here is there is a new door that is opening up for you. And you already know that change is very, very imminent because where you are staying right now, I just feel like it's lackluster. Okay? Either it's not proving to be emotionally fulfilling, or some of you might feel like you're not able to find a community of people, find like-minded people, or find people who jive with your energy. And you might even feel almost a little bit isolated, like you're not able to find that community or that group of friends or meet new people or, have emotionally fulfilling, even philosophical conversations that you guys really, really love. So with the Three of Cups in the reverse, options for socializing, options for really connecting with people on an emotional level might be a little bit lacking in your environment. And some of you are potentially, with the Tower in the reverse, thinking about changing house, thinking about changing work, thinking about like branching out and creating a new social circle, branching out and finding more people that are like-minded with you. And so I definitely feel an environment where you feel like it has really outgrown its purpose, or you have outgrown a situation and you're figuring out your major big next step. Okay. So that's what I'm feeling here with that first imagery, where the answer is actually right in front of you. And I almost feel like, you're coming into this sense of awakening as to what you need to do, and how this major new revelation or information or way of doing or solution is really going to help you propel you to the next phase in your life. Some of you might be in some type of environment where you have to produce. Okay, there's either a lot of like sending and forwarding. I'm seeing with the large volumes of books, a lot of research. Even I see some people who might have to disseminate information to a large group of people. So, for example, if you're in a work environment where things are very structured from the top down, the top sends out memos as to how to do procedures, how to get things done, how to properly do something. You read all the emails, all the attachments, and then you have to find kind of like rewrite it into layman's terms for the common people, and then you have to forward it to all the people so that they know the exact procedures or the exact protocol as to how to do something. So not only are you, problem solving for yourself, you also have to explain it in a way where it reaches a large audience and it's digestible. So you're breaking down really complex things, concepts, ideas, abstract things and concepts and ideas, and you're trying to make sense of it, not only for yourself, but how to teach it or how to give that information out to other people. So it's almost like a transfer from more of a theoretical framework or more of a theoretical realm into more of the practical realm. What does this information mean? And what are the implications of using this information in the real world? So I feel like you're kind of like that connector, that bridge to be able to pass this knowledge on to other people. So you're going to be able to put yourself in that type of a situation. For some of you, you're really thinking heavily about your major career path. Okay, there's something in the current work environment where you feel like it's not really serving its purpose anymore. You feel a sense of disconnect when it comes to coworkers, when it comes to your ability to blend into a situation. You might feel like the environment itself is a little bit too cutthroat for you. You might feel like the environment, and honestly, I feel whenever I see this card in the reverse and on top of the Nine of Wands, caution. Okay, this is not like a warning signs or anything like that, but it seems to me like it's a situation where you feel like you can't trust everybody, where you feel like people are self-serving, where people are not at their best. They're not supportive of one another. They're a little bit more cutthroat, a little bit more self-serving, a little bit more self-interested. And so you don't like to be in this type of environment where you're a big air signs in general, or major team players. They like to share information. They like to share knowledge. They like to crowdsource. They like to, pick ideas or pick other people's brains or share thoughts. Okay, share knowledge, share processes, share best practices. But you finding yourself in a way where people might be hoarding knowledge, where people are not really they're almost like secretive, or they have hidden agendas. But either way, I feel like it's a very self-interested environment, and it's really hard for you to feel like you belong here, or to feel like you can continue to thrive and to excel in this type of environment. So something like the passion has already kind of like trickled out in this type of environment, and you're not really feeling like you want to stay in here any longer. So you're contemplating some major change, and I feel like you're mulling over the decision. You're mulling over, if I were to do this, what's going to happen? If I were to take this other course of action, what's going to happen? And I also feel there's a huge thing here about, money is going to come in, maybe not yet, but you're going to feel yourself. You're going to feel the ground from under you is going to start to stabilize. Okay. So whatever it is that has broken down, it's being swept away, so something better, something that is more in alignment with you can come into the picture. This is the Nine of Cups, and we have the Star card. Together, wish fulfillment, getting exactly what it is that you want, and being in an environment where you are emotionally nourished, where you are emotionally fulfilled, and you are pretty much, kind of like getting it all, the social circle, the camaraderie in the work environment, the financial abundance, as well as the emotional support. And you're going to feel like the ground from under you is going to stabilize itself once more. And so the question here is, what is this big solution that you have just discovered for yourself? I feel for many of you, you have come up with some type of a plan as to, and what I'm feeling is as to like, how hard do I want to fight for this? So that's what I'm hearing. And the way that this is playing out is for some of you who might be in a relationship where you feel like you have to compete with another person for somebody's attention, where you feel almost like you're in an environment where it's like, showing up one another. You're trying to be a good sport about it, but I feel like it could be a little bit of a competitive environment. And competition is not something that Libras feel comfortable thriving in. So an environment that's conflictual or competitive or too cutthroat, that's not something that you want. That's what your shadow side, the Aries energy, really, really likes. But I feel like for you guys, you're very, very harmonious, and you're very like conflict avoidant, and you want an environment where everyone gets along, where everyone behaves in a proper and polite manner, where things move smoothly and communication is thorough and concise. And so there might be a situation here in particular with a specific person that might have been contentious for quite some time. And I'm seeing a lot of water energy, a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. And I feel like this is a situation where it's kind of like on its last leg. Okay, you have been actively trying to revive it. And we have here, this is the Knight of Cups, water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, as well as the Ace of Cups in the reverse. So I feel like, there was somebody here, or there is somebody here that you have really, really loved, and they really, really care about you. But I feel almost like you might not be feeling what they're feeling. You might not love them as much as they love you. You might not have your 100% in this situation. And some of you might be wishing to just, exit the relationship and just kind of be on your own, or to pursue other people. The Star card usually indicates independence. It indicates self-love. It indicates as well like healing. And it indicates a situation where we might be okay on our own. We might not need to be in that relationship to feel whole. And we would rather, be in a really healthy relationship, or be in a relationship where we are completely in love, rather than stay in a relationship where, yes, there's stability, but there isn't that passion, that chemistry, that love, and that mutual connection. So I feel like some of you are in a connection with somebody where that intellectual stimulation might not be there, okay? And the communication as well. It's like you don't really see eye to eye. Eight of Wands, fast, swift communication and contact. And communication where you say one thing and they just get you. You don't have to over explain. In the reverse, it can create communication issues where two people have to constantly over explain, or two people, just communicate on different wavelengths. And so it's not really conducive to a very harmonious type of a relationship. You might even have different hobbies, different interests, different activities that you do. And one person wants to do this, another person wants to do that. And you're starting to see these glaring oppositions, as well as these glaring life choices where I feel it's almost like the differences are starting to drive a wedge in the relationship rather than bring you guys together. And then I'm also feeling for many of you shaking off some type of a restriction. Eight of Swords, okay, the mental prison that we put ourselves in, the unknown, not making a decision because there are too many choices, too many possibilities, and we don't want to make a mistake. And this is a card where somebody is often very, very hard on themselves, and they don't want to fail. There might, I'm hearing as well, limited resources to do all the things that we want to do. So we can only pick one of those options, okay? And we don't know which one is the best one for us yet because we're stuck in this headspace where we are constantly doubting ourselves. And what I'm feeling is, if this is a work situation, I feel like you have other options that are available for you that will be more emotionally nourishing. So make sure your emotional needs are met first, and then the financial situation will kind of flow in. If this is a love type of a situation, I definitely feel there's another person in the picture. And I feel like this, you have another, so I'm seeing like two energies. One person might be from the past. One person might be somebody that you're with right now. So in a way, both people might still be from your past. Like you've known them before, but one person you're involved with, and you're not really sure whether or not to continue. And then to continue with, you might not trust this person as well. And then I see another person that you haven't been romantically involved with. And I feel like you're looking back at this person from your past, and you're possibly thinking, should I give this a try? Should I give it a go? There might have been some recent stoppage in the communication with this person. So I'm seeing possibly a fire sign: Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Aquarius here as well. And I'm sensing many of you are looking for a new start, looking for a new path forward. And I feel like you're waiting for the other person to see if they're 100% on board with you so that you can move forward with them. And what the spread is really telling me is that they're preoccupied with a lot of things in their own lives, and they're not going to be the one to give you that clear sense of direction. I feel like somebody has been kind of impatient with you because you might have taken a really long time to make a decision. And I feel like they feel like they have already left the ball in your court, and it's time for you to make the move and to move forward with this decision. So this is what I feel is your energy as the air energy. You have to be the one to kind of break yourself free of the self-doubt, and you have to be the one to make the decision, and you have to be the one to move forward, because the other person's just like, I'm done, you're taking too long, or the ball's in your court, now you need to move. Now you need to, bring your A game. Now you need to do a slam dunk. That's what it feels like to me. And so while you're stuck here, one of the things that I would advise is, I'm feeling this is pretty much your advice card running right down the middle. We have here the Star, and this is pretty much the yes card. Should I go forward with something? Spiritually, the answer for you is yes. Should I move forward with a person? The answer is yes. Should I move away from a person? The answer is yes. Because it's not really serving your emotional stability, or it's not really adding to your emotional happiness in the long run, and you have other things that are going to be able to do that for you, okay? So the second message, or the second image that came into the picture with the two kids fighting, and the girl comes into the picture, and then the boys become a little bit more harsh or more aggressive when it comes to showing off their swordsmanship. What it means to me is things can be very, very nice and all fun and games, right? But whenever we have something at stake, or whenever there's something on the table, which is, there's something there, there's a prize, or there's ramifications, or there are consequences, that's when we get ourselves into this situation. And that's when we find ourselves overthinking, overanalyzing, wanting something pretty badly, and afraid that we might not have the skills, wanting something really badly, Nine of Cups, and we might feel like we're afraid that we don't have the skills, we don't have the proper preparation, that we're not good enough, that we're not really sure if we should go for it. And the thing is, if you don't go for it, you will never know. Okay, so you kind of have to take the initiative. You kind of have to take a few risks here to get you closer to the things that you want. Okay. So I will leave it at that. I hope the reading is helpful. For those who are still emailing me regarding private readings, I am no longer doing private readings, but I do have a psychic that I've used her services for quite some time, and I highly recommend her if you're looking to get a reading for yourself, for spiritual guidance, or for someone you know. I highly recommend that you book a reading with her. Her name is Bridget, and she is phenomenal. I left a link to her scheduling website in the description box below. So if you like to do that, just click on the link. I will talk to you guys soon.